Hi everyone, this is Trishta Doherty reporting from Long Beach, California. We're at Ekal Vidyalaya's Gala tonight. Ekal Vidyalaya is an amazing organization that has created over 91,000 schools in India. Let's take a look at all their amazing efforts and all the celebrities coming out here to join the gala tonight. Tell us how you got affiliated with this organization.
Well, I think it's been roughly about 18 years that I've been in the movie industry, and about 18 years that I've been associated with social impact. Because of that kind of work that we did, Ekal reached out and said, you champion so many causes, would you like to support us? And this was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So I helped them with a fundraiser in India, and they were only at about 65,000 schools in India back then. And it's amazing that from 65,000, they're already at 95,000 schools. I think Ekal is probably going to be one of the most impressive human impact stories that we've seen in our times, because at the rate they're going, they'll be reaching out to 100 million kids that are underprivileged, impoverished, malnourished, and undereducated. So I think it's fantastic, because they're laying the foundation that's giving these children the tools to empower themselves. And most of these kids live in really remote areas of tribal India or conflict zones, and you name it, and Ekal is there. I think it's a very, very empowering exercise.
You're a huge humanist and philanthropist in India. Can you talk about some of the other causes that you're close to?
Well, I started Project Devi about 11 years ago, and we started with a rescue of about 33 girls from child prostitution, from being sold into child prostitution. And now we've, over the last 11 years, rescued and helped more than 2,200 girls. So that's been a project that's been very close to my heart, and we keep growing. We're doing very well.
You recently played India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. What were some of the challenges of playing that role, and what did you learn from that role?
I mean, I think it's probably one of the greatest honors of my career to be able to play a persona like Mr. Modi on screen. And it was an amazing exercise, researching and going into his background and understanding, how a man who came from nothing, instead of aspiring to wealth and money and stature and all the worldly things, just aspired to serve. And his service brought him here, and even when he is one of the most powerful people in the world, he continues only to serve, and that's his focus. So I think he's in India we say something called Yug Purush, a person who comes maybe once in 1,000 years. I think he's one of those people. I think the kind of impact that his legacy will have on India is immeasurable. And doing that movie was a really interesting experience. I've done 47 films across 7 languages, and most of the films you do, you get into a character and then you move on. But this is one of those characters that's just stayed with me, and I've learned so much from it.
Welcome back to Showbiz India.
Thank you. It's been a long time, but I'm so glad that I can come back to Showbiz India.
And we're so glad as well. Can you tell us about how you've been involved with Ekal Vidyalaya?
Ekal Vidyalaya, it's been really great to be part of them. I did one of their galas in Washington, D.C., but basically they need someone to help promote their cause, which is helping children in India. And I have been lucky enough to been successful enough to been able to give my name and my voice, my comedy for this wonderful organization and their cause.
And what have you seen has been some of their highlights or achievements that you feel very proud of being involved with the organization?
Well, they take money from wealthy individuals here in America and other places, and they reallocate it to the underserved Indian population in India at villages, small projects, sanitation, education, things that are just like basic things that humans need, and they don't have them in India. So these people who could be very successful in life, they just need a little bit of money. We're talking about a Starbucks cup of coffee will go very far for them. So it's very nice that us South Asians, us Indians have done so well here. I mean, we've worked very, very hard, but we've done so well. So this allows us to connect back to India and give back to those who need it, just like us.
And circling to your career for a second, of course we are all in love with Three Idiots, one of the most remarkable achievements.
Yes, I'm definitely in love with it.
Can you talk to us about some of your other projects and some of your favorite projects you've done so far?
Yeah. I've been in television shows here in America, like The Office and Arrested Development, but recently I've done some web series, as they're called in India, but they're internet streaming shows. So I have a Netflix show called Brown Nation. It's like the Indian Office. It's about an IT company in New Jersey. And then I have a new show on Eros Now called Metro Park, which is about Indians living in Edison, New Jersey, and they want to be very American, but they're really, really Indian. So it's kind of like a modern family version, Indian family, So that show has done really well in India and globally. And it really speaks to the westernization of our Indian culture and, this hybrid sort of world, this world where, kids are really on phones all the time and their parents want them to be more religious. And it's like talking about now, but in a very fun and light way. And that's why it's been so popular. I thought it would only be popular in America, but in India, it's really popular because that's sort of what's happening in India.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
It was great. It was great to be with you, and keep watching Showbiz India. It's a great show, connects the community together, and you guys, do awesome jobs. And I love the hair oil, I gotta say.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
Thank you. Shout out to Reshma Beauty.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really working for me right now.
Exactly. Thank you.
Although I slip a lot. I slip on the...
You'll be okay. Just keep it on the hair.
All right, cool, awesome.
Can you talk to us about how you got started with Ekal Vidyalaya and what this organization means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Ekal Vidyalaya basically stands for one. Ekal means one. So one teacher, one school, one village. That was the model with which it was started. It was started 30 years ago, where we identified more than about 100 to 150,000 villages where there were no schools at all. So if the children there wanting to learn, there was no mechanism available to them. So we took this as a challenge. So we said over the next several years, we want to adopt all these 100,000 villages and set up at least one school completely provided free for the village. So any child that lives in that village can attend that school and get the basic literacy, K through 3, accomplished through that school system. So we started with one school, and this year we are reaching our goal of 100,000 schools. That means 100,000 schools, 100,000 villages. Each school is about 25 to 30 children. So we are almost teaching 2.5 million children every year.
Can you tell us a little bit about your affiliation with Ekal Vidyalaya?
I am the executive director for Ekal Vidyalaya Foundation of USA. It is an organization that is actually bringing holistic development to remote rural villages. These are villages where there are no roads that are closer than 6 kilometers. We have been running single teacher schools in about 95,000 villages. And at this point, we are really ready to leap forward, and we are bringing digital Ekal technology to our villages.
Thanks so much to Ekal Vidyalaya for letting us be a part of their noble cause tonight. We hope you all can contribute in your own ways.